Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday, everybody. And thank you for tuning into the Charity Movement podcast once again. I am Kiera Gladney, the host of Mask Off, this Charity Movement podcast. And today we are talking about kingdom influence, okay? And I was on the hunt to find an amazing influencer who had great values, who loves her family, who loves her husband, and just is an all around great woman. And to have a woman that is around your age, just she exudes like confidence and just being put together. I don't know if that makes sense. Like just put together, just think about the best like sunrise with your nice tea and your beautiful like house and aesthetic. Like that's what she exudes, and that's what I want in life. Okay. I'm going to get there one day. But this is what this woman exudes, and I love that about her. I love her sweet spirit as well. And so for all of you that do not know her, her name is Yasmin. On social media, her influencer like name is like Yasmin Page. And you guys need to remember her name because she is amazing. So without further ado, I want to invite Yasmin Page to the Charity Movement Podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. That was like the best introduction ever. I almost cried.
Was it really?
Yes. I was like, what's she talking about?
You, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And all of those things are true. And the funniest part is, you talking about me? Yes, ma'am, I am.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. So, who is Yasmin Page? I know I gave a little intro, but who are you?
Well, everything you said. I'm 25. I was about to say 26. I'll be 26 in May. I'm married for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in July to Daniel Jones. My last name is Jones, Yasmin Page Jones. We just recently had our first kid, our son. He just turned 6 months on the 24th. So he's amazing. He's our little bundle of joy. He's really a blessing. We also own a multimedia company called Good Boy Multimedia, where we offer photography, videography, DJ services, photo booth, and I'm over photography. So that's one of the things that I love to do. We're big church people. His family are that's our church house. His dad is a bishop in Detroit, located in Detroit. What else? I'm trying to think. I love fashion. A few years ago, I still do it sometimes for people that just ask or reach out to me. I do a little bit of styling, and I love Jesus. I love to talk about Jesus. I love to learn about Jesus. I have I guess it's a group called Prayer in the City where I do little events where we just get together and we pray. Sometimes we dress up and sometimes we just, be comfortable, but we pray about things going on in the world and just things going on in our lives. I'm trying to get back into that because it was really helping me, especially during this mom time. I feel like a good group of women would be good. And then family, which you said as well. Family is like super duper important to me. I have two sisters, and I don't know how my mom got us to be so close, but like it's like triplets or something. We like, even though they live in Kentucky right now, my youngest sister's at Kentucky State, and my oldest sister just moved there. But I'm just infatuated with them. They're so amazing. And my mom, we're all super close. On the other side, Daniel's family, he has four other brothers. They all have wives and kids, so it's 25 of us on that side. So we're both very family oriented. So I think that's it. I think that sums me up.
I love that. I love
Thank
how
you.
close you are to your sisters. Okay, so
Yes.
this is not one of the questions or
No, it's
anything, but
fine.
um have your sisters, like, has that sisterhood, has that always been like that? Like, have you guys bickered throughout your lives? Like, how was
Mhm.
that?
I was the middle child. I don't think I've ever bickered with either one of them, but they bickered together. Like the youngest and the oldest, but it was never me. But now we're all just super close. Like that's why she ended up going to school out there. I think my oldest sister lived there for like 4 months before she had to go to college, and she honestly missed her, but she wanted to go to a HBCU, so she
Oh, okay.
applied to Kentucky and she got in. So I think we pretty much always been like that. And the bickering was like, I think my youngest sister was like in her just becoming a teenager.
Influencing.
Mhm.
So would you describe yourself as an influencer?
I'm, and people always tell me that I just made it. That was on like my vision board to be an influencer this year. But you even said it. You even calling me an influencer already, and that's what my family says. Like you're already doing that, and I think it's just because the numbers in my head, like social media. But I'm already influencing in a positive way. So I think I just need to call it what it is. So yes, I am an influencer, but I didn't consider myself to be before I think this year.
Okay, so I love that you said that, the honesty in you saying that sometimes, like when you look at the numbers.
Hmm.
So, what would have been your definition of an influencer? Like, what is that to you?
My definition now is somebody that can do something or say something, just being natural, like just living an everyday life, and people want that, or you know are trying to achieve that same thing in life, or just buying a pair of slippers, or like you said, the tea in the morning, or something like that, something that it would be natural for me to do, but other people want to do it. I can influence somebody else to do this. I can influence somebody else to live for God, or something, to wake up early and pray, or to work out. Just and I'm saying all the positive things, but there is negative influence as well.
Yeah.
I try not to do too much of that. So I think that's what it means to me, along with the social media stuff. Like I said, the numbers. And I used to think, and this is in my head, which is so wrong. So this is not what an influencer is. Having 10,000 plus followers, that was like a thing for me, like something that I needed in order to be. But even Instagram and Facebook are changing things. Like you don't even need that to have a link on your story or whatever. They're making it known, like you don't need the numbers anymore. They're hiding likes. Like I love everything that they're doing, because it just shows that you don't have to have all that to be an influencer. So
Yeah, I think, and it removes the pressure
yes.
of having to do things outside of what you usually
Yeah.
do in
To
order to
try to get all that
gain
stuff.
traction on
Yes.
your social media. So I really love that. And I was just thinking about, like, just preparing for this interview, and I was like, man, I really look at you as an influencer. And I promise you, when I ask you that question, in my head I'm thinking she's gonna be like, yeah, I'm an influencer. This is what I do. But because honestly, you, in my mind, when I look at an influencer, it's someone who impacts another person
Hmm.
to either look in a different light or look in a different perspective.
That's good.
And especially for you walking into motherhood, and I know we'll get on this like down the line, but
Mhm.
I just want to openly give you kudos for
Thank
your
you.
walk through motherhood. I know that it has not been easy
No.
in every sense. Everybody knows that being a mom is not an
No.
easy task, but I appreciate you for showing us as mothers the sunshine in the
Mhm.
midst of rain. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You do it well.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay, so let's get back to influencing. How do you influence effectively and still keep the forefront on the kingdom or kingdom minded,
Hmm.
things?
I think that's hard. Just a hard, not hard to do, hard to answer, because it's not easy to do for some people. And I usually will used to, I'll say, have to like reroute myself, like I'm doing something that I'm not, not called to do, and not what I wanted to do, like in my goals or whatever I said that I wanted. This is not it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really like planning things with the right intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Because sometimes you can get, sidetracked. Not even sidetracked. You just think that something else will get you to the place where you want to be faster. Like
Yeah.
I might just post about, I don't know, tight clothes or something, because people like that, or Fashion Nova stuff, and just I don't know. I feel like that's the thing right now. The bodies and just the stuff that isn't focused on what I think I'm supposed to be doing. But in that same light, like people love when I post about my kid and the stuff that I'm going through, the real stuff, like how my surgery went and me coming home and stuff. Like I get more comments than I would get with the stuff that I'm not supposed to be doing. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's hard, especially when you obviously have a place in
Hmm.
like social media and influencing and things like that. It's really like what is my cutoff, or what is I don't want to say like what is my limit, because it's
Yeah.
really all about conviction anyway, but where's that fine line of what I want to do versus like what I have to do? I don't know if
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. I couldn't like find the words. And some people call it like finding your niche. And
Okay,
that was
yeah,
kind of hard for me to do because I felt like I liked so many things because I do love fashion and I
yeah,
do love God and I do love traveling and I do love family. But it's like, do you add all of that into your influence? And it's like, yeah, you do. You be yourself. And that's what people like most. They like to see you in the light of your like everyday life. That's what's natural. So instead of like making up stuff and trying to make up like I guess content you would say, even on a
yeah,
basis, it's just like your natural self will get more out of people than you think.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I think with with social media, I think for so long people have thought, well, I have to be made up in
Yeah.
order to gain the traction and the
Mhm.
attention
I
that I
gotta look like
want.
everybody else and
And
stuff.
it's more so like I would be better off just being who I am. Then people will see it anyway. Just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk family. You spoke
Okay.
a little bit about that earlier, but you're a
Mhm.
wife, you're a mother, you're a
Mhm.
professional, you're so many more things, okay? Because I kind of
Mhm.
stalked you, but not stalked you, like like research stalked you, not look in your window stalked you. Okay, I
Yeah.
just want to be clear. So what does a day in your life look like?
Mhm. We're kind of all over the place right now, but a consistent day is me waking up at about 5, and that's my son's first bottle. We call him Papa. That's Papa's first bottle.
Okay.
I usually do some office hours with my husband. I try to for our company, just like responding to emails and stuff like that, or doing calls. We're getting ready for wedding season, so I'll try to make calls to the brides. After that, I'll try to make some breakfast for both me and my husband, and then my son. He's doing pureed foods right now. I'll try to take a shower, even though that doesn't always happen.
All right. Yes.
And then I guess it's playtime, changing clothes, washing clothes, folding clothes. I try to clean during that free time until I'm by myself again, which is Daniel going to work, my husband. So after that, it's kind of just me and Papa just figuring out what we want to do for the rest of the day. I do try to mark out anything that I can do for the next day. So just to be prepared, I even try to do that weekly, which is better for me to do it just day by day because the weekly I just get kind of sidetracked and I can't really see until it's the day
Yes.
before. So that helps a lot. Bath time at night. He gets a bath every other night. I always try to pray in the mornings and at night with him. We're actually fasting right now with our church for 90 days. So we do a little bit of reading right before we go to bed, and then I pray with the baby, and then that's about it. Sometimes we have gigs in between the day, or my mom will come over. Gigi, she's amazing. She's like my only baby. Well, she tells me that she's the only babysitter. She doesn't really allow him to go with anybody else right now. So that's her. If I have to go out, mostly I'm doing photo shoots or work in the house right now because I'm trying to be that type of mom. Not just a stay at home mom, but I want to be able to work here.
Okay.
I have to go out. Not that I'm against daycare or anything. I'm just not ready for it.
And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So I think that's about it.
That's
And dinner,
beautiful.
dinner, dinner. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I love that. I love that you're comfortable with your boundaries. I think
Mhm.
that so many women, so many mothers are not comfortable saying that they're not comfortable with things. And
Yeah.
I remember getting so much like I used to get so much feedback. I'll call it feedback
Yeah.
because I didn't
Mhm.
want to take my first son Titus. I did not want to take him to daycare, and I
Mhm.
didn't until he was 18 months. So I didn't go back to work until I was he was 18 months,
Yeah.
and people were just like, "Well, why don't you just do it? It's not a bad thing." And
Yeah.
I don't think daycare is bad at all. I
No, me
just think
either.
that we have to be comfortable with our boundaries,
Mhm.
and we have to say it until people are comfortable with them too.
Yeah.
And so
And
I
then
appreciate
even
that.
if they don't get comfortable, it's not that's not our job. I think it's just a different time in the world, and I think people should try to understand that more so than trying to like change mom's opinions. Like we're in a different time, so I understand that you might have to had to go back to work after 6 weeks, and I think that's absolutely terrible
Me
that
too.
that was a norm. So I feel like I'm absolutely blessed that I have the space and the grace to be able to like say that no, we're not going to do that. Like, and that's just it.
Absolutely.
I mean, COVID. It's the world is different right now.
It
So
is.
even I mean, and that's a whole different subject. COVID and I think spirits and everything else. It's a lot going on in the world.
Yeah,
People are when you take your child to daycare, that's people are raising your kids. So I think this time is important, and people don't take this time serious because the babies can't talk, but this is their brain is developing. Like
yeah,
I'm teaching him daily, so this is important. This is an important time.
absolutely. And I look at my 3 almost 4-year-old, and he is in daycare now and preparing to go to preschool, and I can just see his mind is always just
Yeah.
going. He's so inquisitive, and
Hmm.
everything you say is like, "Nope, I'm adapting it. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I know, yeah." Everything. So when he comes from daycare and he has a new expression or emotion, I said, "Well, where did you get that from?"
Yeah.
"Oh, I got it from my friend at school." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're right.
At
This
that
is
age, I feel like he's strong enough because you built him up to
yeah,
be
he's
that.
strong enough to say what he does not want.
Right. So yeah, I think that's a perfect age. And that you said that, now I'm thinking like that might be my age, 18 months.
18 months was really good because he had a pretty good memory.
Hmm.
So if I could feel that he didn't like someone or wasn't comfortable,
Yeah.
I'd just be like, "Oh, them? Okay,
Right.
never again."
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, or if maybe, he was able to walk, he was able to hold things by himself, he was able to do certain things by himself to where I was confident that, for the most part, he could in some type of way tell me because we had built up some type of communication between
Yeah.
mom and baby to where
Hmm.
he could tell me if something was wrong or
Yes.
anything. But
That's super important.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did your marriage transform when you became a mother?
It transformed a lot. Me and my mom are like best friends. I was just talking to her about this earlier. I was like, I feel like I'm in a movie and I'm just watching somebody else's life. Like, and I'm like, no, you probably shouldn't say that. But it's me. It's real. I had an emergency C-section, and he was due in September. I had him at the end of August, and it was still like wedding season. So we're like very, very busy. But I'm 8 months pregnant, so I was still working, helping and stuff. But I feel like that really did something to our marriage, like just him coming early, because we weren't prepared for that. But we didn't think the whole time that he would come early. He came a whole month early, so even the house wasn't prepared, and our mindsets weren't prepared. But I mean, that's something that you have to get through, and we're getting through it. Him crying and stuff, like the bedtime and his sleep schedule. He's sleeping in the bed with us right now. My husband hates that. He's like, I never had a person sleep in between me and my wife before, but this is definitely different. But it was cute at first when he was little, but now he's almost bossy. Like, don't
Oh,
don't be over here with my mom. It's me and her time right now. So I think that it's just like you don't want to wake the baby or something, so you're whispering or I'm feeding. So it's just it takes away from like you get into like love the other person the same way you used to, and I feel like that's not something that they tell us before we get pregnant and stuff like that. Like things will change, but you don't know, you have to like relearn the person almost.
yeah,
After you have a baby, especially a C-section, you almost want to be touched differently. After breastfeeding, like everything is sensitive. It your whole body on the inside and out, you're almost a completely different person. But sometimes we're expected to just go back into our normal lives, and it's like I'm not really her anymore.
right.
Like I want to be her, but I'll
Yeah,
get back to her. Maybe I won't. But we gotta learn now what to do in this moment. So I think it's just like that's the biggest transition is like learning and adapting and balancing. I would say are the three things that we're doing right now to just be comfortable, still be loving, not irritable because we're tired. Like he's coming home from work just without me, and I know that's a lot out there in the field. And sometimes we don't even think about them because we like, I've been home with this baby all day. Come get this baby out of my hands. I've experienced life. I've experienced his life because it's our company. I've worked with him on that side, but not everybody gets to do that. So it's like it's a different understanding. Like I understand that you're tired too. So I think that's a plus that we have. But we're still learning. We're still figuring it out. I think that's the biggest transition though, that we're two different people almost, and we're trying to like relearn each other along with learning our baby at the same time. So it's fun, but it's just like a lot of questions being asked, and we try to
yeah,
communicate without like, can you stop talking to me for like 5 minutes? I just want to be quiet. The baby's been screaming all day. So yeah.
yeah. Those transitions are always different because, like you said, after a woman has a baby and she becomes, a human eating factory, it's just a lot because you no longer feel like your body is your body.
Yeah.
Like you have a whole lot of experiences where you feel like, is this my life?
Hmm.
Is this mine?
Yep. That's exactly what I say. I'm like, this is a movie. This, this is not. This is a movie.
Yes. And I remember having after I had Kendrick, I asked my doula, I was like, is this like when you really feel like a woman is after you have two kids?
Hmm.
I was like, I feel like I'm grown. She was like, you've been grown. I was like, but I feel like a woman now,
Yeah, it's
but I
different.
didn't feel like it before.
Different. You never all that you experience is like, yeah, you never feel any of that. You can buy a house, you can get married, you can have intercourse for the first time, you can like pain, you can feel pain, but none of that. Like a C-section, healing, that process of healing, like I felt no pain like that. I felt no joy, like hearing my son cry for the first time. Like all of that is something totally different. And I don't think we were grown before this. Like this definitely changed us.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, it's like an initiation into a whole new
Yeah.
life because it's really like that whole transition. And I feel like that whole transition, especially within marriage, is so important. And
Hmm.
I think it's a beautiful thing that you're considerate of, your husband and, his feelings and his emotions because I didn't know until um like well into having my first son that my husband had emotions within like how he felt with having a new baby and his transition of why is this baby in our bed? Or like why can't I hug you
Yeah.
without the baby being like, mm-mm, go somewhere now, daddy. Don't try to get up on her. No, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Um, but just being conscious of that is a very beautiful thing.
Yes, it's important. It is important. It's a very sensitive time, and it can really hinder your marriage if you don't have, I think, mentorship, and even just like people who've done it before around you, even if they made mistakes, they know what they did wrong to tell you like this is something that you should do or something you shouldn't do. Like it's a very pivotal time, very important time. And I think with us being Christians, like it's even deeper for us because God is a big factor. Like we don't just walk out of the house when we feel like this is too much. Like that's not how we were raised, different stuff like that. So it's a very sensitive time, but
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
it is a very
The
beautiful thing.
whole process, yeah.
Okay, so how do you travel with an infant? Okay. Because I don't. Well, I used to travel with Titus. The
Uh-huh.
first time I traveled with him was at 4 months, but I have not thought about traveling with both of them. So yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna say it's easy, and it wasn't. It was easy once we did it, but I just like to soak up a bunch of just information. So I was on YouTube. I read like 3 books before we went somewhere because I wanted him to be safe during COVID. But we traveled a lot before I got pregnant. So like for 8 months, I think I only went out of town like twice, and that's like crazy for me because I love to travel. So just it kind of just taught me what to do. So just preparing him, your flight time is important. Like depending on what time they wake up, you want the time that they go to sleep to be the time that they're on the plane. You don't want the baby if they're not over the age of 1, you want them to be asleep for that time because their ears won't pop where they sleep. So on the way up, we fed him his bottle. That makes him go to sleep pretty easy. I fed him in a virgin. He stayed asleep the entire time. So before you get to the airport, you want his diaper changed. You want everything prepared, so you don't have to take him to the bathroom. I um I bought the little carrier thing that you just wrap. It looks like a long scarf,
Mhm.
and you just wrap it around you. I put him in there. He was asleep when we got there. He woke up because he's nosy. He just saw all the lights, so he was just staring, which was good because that like 30 minutes of us getting to our gate was perfect. Um, and then I fed him going up. He was asleep. I fed him. I tried to wake him up before the plane got back down because I guess those are the times that your ears pop the worst when you're
Yeah.
going in and coming down, which I didn't know because I just get on the plane. Um, I packed 3 of everything. So like a normal onesie thing that he wears at night. For one day, I packed 3 of them, and I went through everything, which is crazy. Like he would pee through something, or with boys, you got to make sure there is a certain way so they don't
Mhm.
pee. I'm like, this is all crazy. So if his dad changed his diaper, I knew he was gonna pee on himself. Because he's always wrong. Because he just thinks he's a grown man like him. What else? We took the car seat and the stroller. If you fly, it doesn't matter what airline you fly with, you can go to the Delta desk and they will give you a bag for $15 to put your car seat and your stroller in. It's just one big bag. So that was something that I Googled before I got there because if not, they just throw your stuff on the back of the plane, which isn't you paid this money for this expensive thing and they just throw it on the bottom of the plane. It gets all jacked up, just like your suitcases and stuff. So I wanted to make sure that that was covered. What else was important? Just I took all his bottles. I think he has like 8 bottles. I took every last bottle with water. And when they check your bag, they check the water. So you can have food in there and water. Not like a grown up person, but if they see it in the diaper bag, they'll just stick something in the water just to check it. But other than that, you can have anything with a baby. The airport was probably the easiest part because everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, is that a baby in there?" Yeah, can I cut the line?
Right.
Can I get a green? So I think the airport was probably the easiest thing. Everybody is so excited. Babies just make everybody happy. So everybody
That's
wants to
really
help you.
true.
That was the first time I rode on the little motor thing at the airport. We weren't even late. The guy was like, "Here, you guys come and get on." I'm like, "Okay." Not as difficult as you may think. Like you just kind of have to do it, and you won't. learn if you don't go and make mistakes. Like I don't think I forgot anything, but I can't even remember what we did wrong. He cried for like a little long. Oh, I forgot his medicine, his Pepsi. He has acid reflux. I forgot to put that in the bag. So, but now I remember to do simple stuff like that. He has a medicine bag now, a travel medicine bag. So, just stuff like that. But you won't learn, I don't think, until you like do it and make mistakes. Our first time going out to dinner, I almost had like whatever kind of attack, but I forgot his water. He had drunk 2 bottles and it was time for another bottle and I forgot extra water. I was like, oh, we gotta go home. Dan was like, you just need some baby water. You want to stop at Kroger? I'm like, okay, yeah.
We're not going
All
anywhere.
right, we're gonna stay out a little bit longer. I'm like, okay. So just making mistakes that really helps. But those are my biggest tips. No, the plane is probably the best option. Driving, you'll always stop. We went to Chicago, and I don't recommend driving with a newborn. You just keep stopping. Every time they cry, you just want to stop. So if you take the plane, it's just like you have to calm them down. There's no stopping. It's even though it might be hard on a mom, it's easier. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, thank you for all of those tips.
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk postpartum. Why is it so important to remain yourself even after having your baby?
Um, I would say that it's important because you can get lost in your baby, especially being a first time mom. It's like I was like blown away. I'm like, this little thing came out of me. I did this. This is so cool. I was just like super proud of myself. I got home. Well, we stayed in the hospital for like 2 weeks, and I was just like in the hospital bed. I was so proud of myself. And I'm a shopaholic already. So I was just like scrolling. I ordered whatever I wanted. I think I spent so much money at the hospital for those 2 weeks, which was wrong. And that's why it's important to like don't go in it like that. Like don't go in it thinking that you do earn something. Like you don't. It doesn't have to be a trophy or anything. You get your child after that. Like it's important to
No, I wanted to give.
yeah. I push gift right. Now that's something different. That's something different
I was
beforehand.
like a gift.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where is it? No, I just mean like I guess from the world, I guess we just and it's kind of a thing today, and I actually love it that moms are getting like we used to get like no slack. It was just like you have the baby, you got these. I think 6 weeks is what I'm hearing my mom's voice in my head, and then you had to go back to work. But now it's like take your time, like breathe, get your life back on track, and do what you have to do to remain yourself, like you said. And sometimes we can do that even before we have the baby. Like sometimes it's planned, and sometimes like us, it was kind of a oh I'm pregnant. So it was a surprise, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I know my goals. I know what, God wants for me right now out of my life or whatever, or even stuff that I want for myself to be doing to stay on track. That's important because, like I said, you can truly lose yourself in just mom stuff. And at first it's cool, like, and my mom did this, and she tells me this all the time. She's like, it's dangerous only because after that 18 years, the child is gone. And then you and your husband are like staring at each other. And my dad he lives in Chicago, but he comes home every weekend to spend time with my mom. But like they never travel or anything. They've never been out of the country. They've been to like Vegas, but I think that's it. But after they had children, it was just like go to work, take care of the kids. Like it was no them time or just like separate. Like she had never been to the spa. like no self-care, which that was normal back then, or just normal for her, I'll say. I won't speak for anybody else. But it's important to know that you can still like take care of yourself. You can
Yeah.
still treat yourself. You can drop the baby off, even if we don't want daycare. Like we can still find a babysitter, even a really good nanny for the weekends to like spend time with our husbands, or just go to the library and read. I love to read, even though I haven't did that, which I should. Or go to Starbucks, go to Target to take a break, like because you can get consumed. And I was like that. The first month I got home from the hospital, I was scared, and I don't think. Well, I know I wasn't depressed, but I was sad that my son had to go through everything that he went through, even though he's completely fine and healthy. It was a lot for me to see him in that NICU for almost 3 weeks. It was a lot. So when I came home, it was like I had a oxygen monitor to watch, his oxygen. I had a heart monitor to watch his, you know, everything. So I was scared and I didn't do anything. I didn't come out of the house. I don't think I showered much. Like I didn't talk to many people. I didn't answer my phone. It was always dark in the house. It was very, very sad. And I didn't know that that was coming. I didn't know that, he had to come like that, but it gets dangerous. And that's not where anybody should be. Like I had to get myself out of that. And my mom really helped me because she was like, "Yeah, if you can't stay in here, like you have to get out. And if it's just like take the baby with you, if that's something that you have to do, take the baby to anywhere. Go for a drive, go for some fresh air, but you have to make sure that you stay important and your husband stays important and God stays important and your goals and everything else."
Absolutely. And kudos to your mom
Yes.
for being that nudge.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna cry today. But I know that it gets so hard.
Mhm.
And sometimes we go down this rabbit hole of what ifs,
Mhm.
especially since while our babies are in our belly for the most part, especially when they get past like that 3 or 4 month mark, we feel like we got so much control because they're in this little safe cocoon.
Yeah.
But once they come out, it's like all of that confidence is completely gone. Like, okay,
Yeah.
now he's into the world. What shouldn't I do? What should I do? Especially for those of us that went through complications, it's just like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
like what do I do?
It's
So I'm
scary.
glad that your mom was there for you.
Yep. Yes, she's amazing.
You're amazing, mama.
Amazing. I really, really appreciate her. I tell her that like I didn't think I could love her any more than I did before I got married. And then she was like a rock my first year of marriage. And I'm like, already, I don't think I could love you anymore. And then I have a baby. And it's like, who are you?
It's only going to grow. It's only
Yeah,
going to grow. And then just
like
think
I
of the
need
amount of love that you have for your mom based on all the experiences that have occurred. Just think about how much love little Papa is going to have
right.
for
Yes.
you. Girl, once he hears about this birth story, he going to be like, I love her forever. Forever.
Forever. Forever. Yes.
Okay. So let's talk business really quick before we get and wrap this up. So
Okay.
how did you get into photography with your spouse?
So I told you I love fashion, and I was doing styling. So I was trying to like show off some outfits and stuff, and he would just come like take pictures of me, like at a park or something, or even at my parents' house. We weren't married yet, and I wasn't liking the pictures. I was like, this doesn't really look like what I'm going for. So he was like, he bought me a tripod and he's like, okay, show me how you want me to take the pictures, or, set it up yourself and, you can do it yourself or take the picture of me. So I started taking pictures of him and I'm like, this is how I want it. And he was like, okay, this is good. You should take pictures of other people. So he started making me do photo shoots. At first, he was just doing videography. And then all of a sudden, he was offering photography. And it was like me. I'm like, we're not even married yet. I didn't tell you that I wanted to be a part of your business. Like, sure. So I'm doing these photo shoots. He has a studio. It's actually connected to his dad's church. So that was how that started. And I just started to learn. I took like a photography class. It taught me how to shoot outdoors and indoors with like a flash, and I fell in love with that. And I started doing different stuff. At first, it was just like our friends and family, and then I started doing women's events, and then eventually weddings, which is what I love to do now. The brides and stuff, everything, the whole day is probably my favorite thing to take pictures of. So that's how photography started.
That's beautiful. I love that. Okay. So, our last question is please tell us what you have going on, how we can support you, how we can see you, and all of your lifestyle hacks and fashion and all of that.
Okay, my Instagram is at underscore Yasmin Page. Facebook is Yasmin Page as well. My husband has Instagram at goodboyceo. Well, and that's kind of connected to our actual Good Boy page because we don't do a lot of posting on there, but most of the stuff goes on his page. I think that's mostly what we're focusing on. We want to be a one-stop shop, so we're looking for buildings right now to have a venue where people can just rent out, and then after that, everything else is taken care of. If you need a photo booth, photographer, DJ, videographer, decorations, we would be able to house you there. Um, Influencing, I'm trying to be more consistent with that, along with mommy life. So I want to start posting more often. So I will be on Instagram doing fashion stuff and hopefully hosting some more events for Prayer in the City. I'm currently working on, which I haven't told anybody about this. I make my own vaginal soap that I'm gonna eventually starting to sell. I think there's a lot of companies like Honey Pot, which I absolutely love to use, but nothing has a smell. So I made something that has a smell to it that makes us not just kill a scent, but it makes us smell good, like a soap, a real soap. So that's something that I'm working on. I'm actually working
I'm
on the
buying it.
bottle right now.
I'm
Uh,
buying it.
you might.
I'm buying it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know how to get that out to the world yet, but I have a marketing lady I just hired, so she's trying to help me with that. But that's my big thing that I'm trying to do something for myself with myself, like just something that makes me happy to do. I think that's it. I'm decorating my house. We bought a house 2 years ago, and I was doing a lot of stuff, and then I got pregnant. So everything is empty. Everything is painted, but every room is empty right now. So I've been trying to get little stuff up here and there. So that's my other thing. And that's it. Did you say something else? I feel like I answered it though.
You did. You answered it. Thank you so much for being a part of
Thank you
this.
for having me. This is so awesome. So
Thank
awesome. I'm gonna
you.
go back and listen to all the rest of them now because I'm excited.
I think this is awesome. You gave so much. I know that people are going to be encouraged based on your story and what you have given to everybody. And um, even the things that I knew about you or I saw about you, it's like I've learned so much more in this time. So thank you for allowing me into your
No,
life, into your space.
having me. Thank you for allowing me to open up. I felt very it was easy. I felt very at home. I am at home, but I felt at home talking.
Well, crying. This is ridiculous.
Yes, it was. I try not to tell the whole story, so we didn't
Woo!
cry completely. But this is amazing. I'm happy to have something and to know someone that is doing something like this. I feel like uh, this market is. People may think that it's oversaturated, but I don't know. It's not. Everybody's not. Everybody doesn't have the heart that will carry God into different places. And I felt that today with you, even when we went to school. So this is awesome, and I'm proud of you.
Oh,
I
thank
know you have 2 kids and you work and everything else. So this is really awesome that you're doing this.
thank you. I appreciate that. Not just two kids. I got two boys who think they're men, who think they run me. Okay.
The boys. That's what they didn't tell us. They were like, boys are so sweet.
They
Boys
think they
are
own
bossy.
you.
Yeah, they're bossy. They don't
Yes,
care what
yeah.
we're doing. It's just about them.
Just like today. Changed my whole schedule
Right.
around because he
He's
just
like,
wanted
"Oh,
to be
she got a
by me. He
she
just
got a
wanted to
name.
be by me.
He
That's
is
it.
so cute." I wouldn't care. I'd be like I'd be like, "Whatever you want." Okay.
Whatever you want. Okay.
Thank you again for having me. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And to our audience, before we get off, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our Charity Movement Podcast YouTube channel as well as to our audio platform. So maybe you can listen to us while you're driving, while you're taking a little stroll through Target. You can always be involved with the Charity Movement Podcast. And remember that the only one stopping you is you. See you soon.